afternoon. I hope your day is going well. My name is Edith Kimani, and in Newsdesk today, this is what we've prepared. The ICC judges decide that in order to protect the first witness against Ruto and Sang, she'll give her entire testimony in private. In Nairobi, a major standoff between government and ministries of civil servants are locked out of Jogoo House. We have the details, and also court MPs to table an amendment on the controversial VAT Act to exempt the basic commodities. This and more coming up right now. Let's start at The Hague, where ICC proceedings for the first prosecution witness will be held in a private session to the completion of her testimony. Now, the 37-year-old witness refused to take the stand following exposure of her identity in the country. Presiding Judge Ebue Osuji ruled in favor of the prosecution to have private sessions as an exceptional measure to protect witness identities, despite objections from the defense teams. Now, defense counsels argued that public interest outweighed merits for private sessions, claiming already there were enough measures by the court to conceal witness identities. The morning session was adjourned before retreating into a private session for cross-examination of the witness.
Your submission, of course, is not that if attempts are made to reveal the identity of a protected witness, or if indeed the identity of a protected witness is revealed, therefore, from then on, it means the witness has been outed and will have to be heard in open session. You're not making that.
No, Your Honor, that's why I allude to defamation, that if one publishes a defamatory remark, it's an offence to republish, and one should not be rewarded by an offence should not be continued simply because somebody has done something which ought not to have been done. So I hope I've been clear on that. But, Your Honour, in an ex parte session, if necessary, but you can take it from me, we have evidence that we received months ago that there's a group of witnesses that have been got at by various groupings, intermediaries, and they've been promised closed session hearings.
We've heard in the ICC an argument that the withdrawal of Kenya, or rather the threatening of withdrawal of Kenya from the Rome Statute, has something to do with the withdrawal of witnesses. But now Attorney General Professor Githu Muigai says that what most people are missing out is the fact that the motion being proposed by Parliament to withdraw Kenya from the Rome Statute does not affect the current cases facing President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, and journalist Joshua Arap Sang. The Attorney General says the move is more political than legal. However, he clarified that the government is fully cooperating with the court, saying that they assist some of the officers collecting evidence. He was speaking at the Kenya School of Monetary Studies, where the Commission on Administrative Justice was hosting ombudsmen from across the continent.
The law is very clear. Again, I think that people have failed, even very learned commentators have failed to point out that even if a bill was enacted, it does not touch, does not relate to the trials pending now before the court, and will not come into effect until a year after the placing of instruments before the UN. I want to make it clear also that if this issue becomes an issue that creates some concern, we are going to file documents with the court explaining the constitutional law of Kenya and the law governing the making and unmaking of treaties. And it will then become clear to the court that these resolutions by the House have nothing to do with the immediate settlement of the cases before the court.
In Nairobi, it was an interesting morning for hundreds of civil servants who were this morning locked out of their Jogoo House offices, and that's following a directive issued for them to relocate. The workers claim that they were not given enough notice, and worse still, some government departments such as the employees of the Ministry of Information and that of the Interior Ministry claim that there was no specification as to which building they were to relocate to.
Police officers didn't want a single car blocking entrances into Jogo House's Block A and B. The tow trucks were called in just in case someone disobeyed the order. Not far behind were 2 trucks of anti-riot police, again just in case.
Hello, sir.
This was not a standoff between police and civilians, but a situation where the government seemed to be fighting itself. Never minding that they work for the same government and they draw their salaries from the same kitty, these officers would not let any civil servant into Jogo House Block A on the basis that Jogo House Block A now belongs to the Inspector General of Police and some top officials of the Administration Police Department.
Sasa ID naye pia akona watu wake ambao wanataka kufanya nao kazi, ambao lazima wafanye kazi. Hatuwezi kuwazungumzia mengi, lakini tuelewe kwamba kuna watu wanataka kufanya kazi hapa. Hawajaweza kuingia ndani ya ofisi zao mpaka sasa.
At least 500 civil servants used to work in the block behind me until the Inspector General moved in. Now the Inspector General wants his officers to occupy the very same space. But they're very cautious on the number of officers who will be occupying this building. And it's not really clear why 4 government departments have to relocate.
Given a time for them to clear their offices.
That is when?
As soon as possible.
Aside from not revealing the number of top police officers assigned to this massive building, the police spokesman could also not specifically name the buildings the other government departments had been relocated to.
The Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development are negotiating. They are busy negotiating so that we can move there. Okay. You see, if it was a government house, we would just have walked in. Yes.
It is alleged that the negotiations to relocate to Teleposta Towers have been occasioned by a debt the government is yet to pay the owners, and until it is solved...
Officers who are Inspector General have called me. They have asked me to ask officers to go and pick their items, but I've told them they cannot pick their items without knowing where they put them. So the most important information we are waiting for is from the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Once they tell us they have finalized discussion with Lloyd Masika, we are ready to move. We are ready to move.
Only one government department has successfully moved. That is the Children's Department that has moved to ex-Telecom's house along Haile Selassie Avenue. Catherine Onwando, KTN.
We're still talking taxes on Newsdesk, and now members of parliament affiliated to the CORD coalition have today sponsored a move to amend the Value Added Tax Bill 2013. Addressing journalists at Parliament Building, Suba Member of Parliament John Mbadi and his Budalangi counterpart, that's Ababu Namwamba, said that this move is aimed at exempting some basic commodities from taxation. They urge their fellow members from both sides of the political divide to shun party politics and exercise sobriety while debating the bill when tabled on the floor of the House.
CORD coalition was going to sponsor immediate amendments to the VAT Act to specifically exempt certain vital or basic commodities and services from the VAT Act. And we have since moved with the speed as a coalition to prepare an amendment bill to that effect that has identified the specific areas we believe VAT should not come anywhere close to bring relief to the people. The high price of milk, bread, unga, and even electricity is not just afflicting persons affiliated to particular political sides. It's afflicting all Kenyans, notwithstanding your political affiliation. So my brothers, sisters in CORD and Jubilee, this is one of those opportunities when you must close ranks and support this bill unequivocally in the best interest of Kenyans.
The mistake that the government has done is to operationalize the act without explaining to the public which items are affected, thereby distorting the economy and giving wrong signals to the economy. And I would urge that action be taken immediately now, once we finish with the amendments, to explain to the country what items are specifically excluded from tax, so that the country is aware in order to avoid sending wrong signals to the economy.